Today, we have a Detroit native, a lover of everything Michigan, a Grambling graduate, a husband, a father, a coach, a professor, an Omega man, a Mason, an author, a motivational speaker, and a mentor. You name it, he's all the above. Welcome to Soft Life Secrets, Mr. Bo Bivens. Bo, welcome to the show. I'm glad you decided to come, finally.
Man. Thank you for the invite. Thank you.
Okay, so this book right here, ladies and gentlemen, Choices, Consequences. You gotta get it, it's a must read. You wrote this book how long ago?
Whew. How long ago did I write it, or when was it released?
What release?
Oh, June,
I was at the release party.
June 2023.
June 2023. This book right here is amazing. And I read a lot of interesting stuff, so you definitely want to go get this book. It will be one of the top sellers. You up there now, right?
I am.
Okay. After reading the book, I got a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
All right, so what were some defining moments in your childhood that shaped your outlook on life? And how did the environment in Detroit influence you writing or telling your story in the book?
Ooh, I think, growing up in the Brewster Projects in Detroit, you saw a lot, right? I witnessed a lot of things that really kind of became the fiber of who I am.
Okay.
And so having to be around older guys, they would give you older stories, right? And so the thing that they did for me was they saw the talent that I had before I saw it.
Okay.
So they kind of shielded me away from a lot of heavy criminal activity.
Okay.
Right.
Heavy criminal.
So, yeah, because I can't say I wasn't involved in some of it, but the heavy criminal activity, they kind of shielded me from that and had me focus on athletics, more so than anything because of the potential that they saw in me early.
Okay.
And so from that, I was just able to observe. Right. So I'm one of those individuals who listen more than he talk. So I would always listen to the things that they would say, how to handle certain situations and things of that nature. But I would say that village and those projects really kind of, prepared me for the life that I encountered, after, I would say after leaving Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what motivated you to go to college and leave Detroit, and how did you stay focused despite of the challenges?
Yeah. I think college for me was just a vehicle to get to the NBA.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
I didn't go for education. I just went for participation.
Oh, okay. So you went on a scholarship?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So what happened initially was I went to a junior college.
Okay.
Right. So I'm at a junior college in LA, and I got a younger brother. And so my thing was to go play at Michigan.
Okay.
I was gonna be a Wolverine. I was gonna walk on. I was gonna be the water boy that turned into the, NBA star.
The star, right.
Whatever it was gonna take,
Yeah.
I was going to Michigan.
Okay.
And so when he went to Grambling, I was like, okay, good. Go ahead, have a good time. I'm going to Michigan.
Right.
And so my mom was always on me about paying bills, right? And so I only recall her having one job. So my mom lived off public assistance. So she wanted me to help pay the bills. So I had got 3 jobs. I never
At a young
forget this.
age?
At the junior college. So I worked as a, what they call a bagger, like Publix, but they out there called Ralph's.
Okay.
And I would, do that in the day. Then I was a valet parking attendant. I had to park cars. And then I also worked at the college where I was an escort to escort people back and forth to their cars, kind of like public safety.
Right.
You know,
Right.
while going to school, while playing ball, you know. And so my grandmother, you know, my mom called one day and she was going in about something. And it kind of bothered me to the point where it brought tears to my eyes. So I called my grandmother. I said, man, I don't know why she keep asking me for this money, this and that, this and that. And she said, you can't live your life for her. You got to live your life for you. You keep worrying about her and she grown, she got to figure out how to pay them bills. Those ain't your bills.
Right, right.
Take your tail to college,
Right.
you know, and be great.
Right.
You know, and so when I hung up that phone that day, it changed my whole perspective on how I was gonna move forward. And so my brother went to a basketball game and he called me after the game. He said, man, these guys not better than you. You come play here.
Wow.
Yeah, so I called the coach and he said, well, you had to sit out your first year. So I wasn't on scholarship. I walked on, then I earned a scholarship. Took a scholarship, became the captain. I mean, just,
Really?
you know. Yeah,
At Grambling?
At Grambling, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a story.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So that's my pathway to the G.
To the G.
Yeah, that's my pathway
Grambling
to the
University.
G.
You know I had a scholarship to Grambling, right, for track?
Really?
Yeah, well, that was one of my choices, but my brother went to Grambling and my mom didn't want me following in them.
Oh.
He had too much fun.
Too much?
Yeah, that he didn't finish.
Well,
So I had to take
Okay.
I went PWI.
okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so overcoming your obstacles, what were the hardest obstacles you faced while transitioning from Detroit's rough streets to college? Like leaving when you said your grandmother told you to leave your mom, let her be? Because obviously you was a mom's boy, right?
Grandmother's boy.
A grandmother's
Yeah,
boy?
I love my mama to death.
You love your
know,
mama. But
yeah.
your grandmother was the one that inspired you to leave and go.
Correct.
What was some of the transitional points of your life during that time? Because I'm sure coming from up north, going down south, it was different.
Oh, very different, you know. But I would say just, you know, not having a father or a male figure, a constant male figure, you know, within my household or within my circle.
Okay.
You know, now, you know, the older guys in the projects, you know, got a lot of love and respect for them, but they wasn't there every day.
Oh, okay. So
Right. You know what I
those
mean?
was people you could turn to on a
Correct.
daily.
Correct.
But when you were in college, you didn't have them.
I ain't had that.
How did you go about mingling? Was your brother still there when you got there?
He was, you know, he was a baseball guy. So baseball, you know, them guys be a little different.
Different.
You know what I mean? But nah, he was
focus a
there,
little
but I just felt like, you know, for me, you know, I was there by myself. I didn't really feel like, you know, I had a support system or what have you, you know.
Okay.
All I knew, I promise you, Miracle, I'm going pro. So I would literally have on campus, I have my basketball, I'm bouncing my ball, going to class, and this and that until a couple of my professors say, you can't come in here with that ball. So then I started dribbling the tennis balls. I had tennis balls. So I'm just, you know, just working and working and working. But I just knew I wanted to, you know, I was going to be successful, you know, and I felt like basketball was my vehicle. But the thing, you know, the transition for me was I was still street. Okay. You know, so I didn't know that people, like the people in Grambling existed. You know, so when I got there, because in Detroit, we don't like you, we don't like you.
Right.
You get to Grambling, everybody waving at you. I don't even know y'all, you know. Hey, you know, I'm like looking. So I didn't really know how.
Hospitality was.
I promise you, I didn't know how to transition to that.
Okay.
And so I befriended a guy, we played ball, and I'll never forget this, Miracle. We got through, he said, you hungry? I'm like, yeah. So he takes me to his house. He said, my mom normally cook. So we go to his house. I'm sitting at the table. She say, well, if my son brought you here, he must really care about you. And just want you to know that anytime you hungry, you can come here. Wow. She said, if you want to wash clothes, that's the laundry. You can wash your clothes. We got an extra bedroom over here. That's your bedroom.
Wow.
And we're gonna leave the door unlocked for you.
Wow.
So I was like,
what they doing?
yeah. So one day I took them up on it. I said, I need to wash. So I go over there and I turn the knob. It was unlocked. I was like, this is a setup. This is a setup. So I felt like the police about to come get me, B&E, I'm like, oh man. So I go in, I throw a load in the wash machine. I was tired because we practiced like 3-4 times a day.
A day, right.
So I went to sleep and woke up to her in the kitchen cooking. And she say, ooh, you had a good nap? She say, the food be ready in a minute.
Wow.
I didn't know people like that existed. I promise you, we won't leave the door open for family. We not there. Hey, you can wait outside till we get back.
Right.
But
it's different in the South.
I mean, it was genuine. That's just one of the stories. You know what I mean? Like literally, when I got to Grambling, I only had the clothes on my back.
Wow.
I couldn't bring no clothes. So I wore the same thing for a whole week. I talked to my students about this today. Like, y'all be caring about what other people think.
Right.
That was the last thing on my mind.
Right.
So I go get my classes and I come back because one of the classes, it was something wrong with it. And my advisor was like, hey man, didn't you have that on a couple of days ago?
Wow.
I said, yeah. He says, everything all right? I said, yeah.
Yeah.
He said, well, do you need anything? Because, if you need something, just ask. And I'm like, these people ain't normal.
Right.
But it really opened my eyes to how to, I guess, come out of my shell to adapt to how life is everywhere.
Right.
Because I was like a yeah guy. They turned me into a yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, ma'am. And things of that nature. And I would be the guy that come in and sit in the back of the class and slouch down,
Right. Don't want to be seen.
Yeah, he was like, hey man, you ain't got to act hard. You in college.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I started sitting in the front. It was just a lot of transitional things that I think Grambling, evolved me to the point that I am today, and I try to instill and teach those same characteristics and principles into my athletes and my students. So,
do you feel you would have got that same experience going to a PWI?
I don't.
Nope. I don't think so either.
I don't.
And I went to a PWI, but it's a difference. Yeah. I think the experience that I've heard people talk about with HBCUs, it's more they want everybody to win.
Yeah.
And it's more genuine. Whereas, PWI, hey, you ain't making the class? Okay. Social Security ending in 9141 didn't make it. That's how, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
They didn't know your name.
Absolutely.
So did you, the guy you talk about whose house you went to, that became one of your close friends?
Yeah. Yep. Karen Starks, no doubt.
And y'all still friends to this day?
Oh, yeah.
That is amazing. Lifetime friendship. Okay, so you had a child at a young age. Well, maybe it wasn't a young age.
Well, I was still in college while I was
college,
getting my master's.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did that transition your life? Like having a child and you still in college, did that make you grow up faster or what?
I would say no. I think just my childhood alone helped me mature faster than my age, right?
And I did read that in the book.
Yeah, and so
you was grown before you was grown.
Yeah, and so when my daughter came, it was just me knowing that I had a responsibility.
Okay.
An added responsibility. So at the time, her mom she was in the Army. So she got orders to go, got deployed to Guantanamo Bay.
Wow.
So
where that's at?
Cuba.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's saying it like I know. Like, okay, she got deployed to Cuba.
Right. And so my daughter was with me. So I was a graduate assistant professor. I was a graduate assistant basketball coach.
Wow.
And I guess,
Father.
Yeah. And
On campus.
Right. And so my classes, she would come, with me to class. I tell her, sit right there, be quiet. And she did that. I mean, she was, she was perfect.
Wow.
She ain't cry. She ain't do all that extra stuff, and she, would listen to her dad. So
she was
I
there.
sit there and, the class was like 3 hours long and she was good. She was good. So
That's amazing.
Yeah, she helped her dad get his master's degree.
She was there with you. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So how did meeting your partner, your wife, impact your current journey? And how would you define the soft life as it relates to your current relationship and lifestyle?
Oh man, that's a great question.
Because y'all live a soft life, by the way.
Right.
Your wife does.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say, just being transparent, through the previous relationships that I had, I feel like I didn't deserve her.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I didn't have any intentions on meeting anybody, right?
Right.
When I met her, I was fine. I was like, man, I don't feel like being bothered, none of this, none of that. But we met, my cousin came in town and came to a game, Morehouse game, and it was just one night. We was like, let's go get something to eat. I was like, I heard about this spot, and so he and I went, and we sitting there, and we got pizza and chicken. We had the pizza bar, and then her and her friend came over first, and she whispered in my ear something about her friend, and I looked, and I'm like, okay, yeah, no question. And so they came over, they was eating our chicken and our pizza.
They was eating our chicken and fish.
For sure.
That's when you know.
And so we had great conversation, and so we exchanged numbers, and the thing that I would never forget, it was close to Valentine, right? And I got sick, sick to the point where I missed class. I don't never miss class, and I had to teach, and I was just out of it. I'm throwing up, it's coming out on both ends, and I don't know. So when I finally came to, it was a couple of days later.
Wow.
And I was like, and I called her. I was like, I don't feel well. She was like, okay, well, I'll come by, what have you. So she came by and still had her uniform on. This one I knew it was real. She came straight from work. She ain't go home.
Wow.
She ain't change clothes. She ain't do straight from work. Had me some soup and orange juice and been taking care of me ever since.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And so the fact that she wakes up and has more care for me than she do herself sometimes, and I can't ask for nothing better, and she says good morning every morning. I've been in relationships where you don't speak for a couple of days. You know what I mean? You just keep walking by each other but the good morning means more than she know.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like for real. So,
ladies, you hear that? Good morning.
Yeah, just
means more than you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So I can't ask for anything else. She take care of me.
She's an amazing woman.
Yeah, she makes sure I'm straight.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, so when you started, what made you decide to write a book? How did that journey come about? How did you get into writing?
Okay. I was never really in-depth writer. I think, I did write some poetry here and there or stuff like that, but it wasn't nothing, that I wanted to pursue.
Okay.
And so what happened with the book, I just felt like for me, as I told you before, I listen more than I talk, which means I hold a lot of stuff in, and so for men, they say, we need therapy just because we hold so much in.
Right.
And so, I recently had a therapist, and I just felt like it didn't, I guess, do what it was intended to do. but I was still thankful because most times with therapy, you know, you want to get some some results on whatever
Right.
you're going through, right?
Immediately.
You want to get, you want to get some type of pathway to remove the tension, whatever you're going through,
Right, right.
And so for me, it was just a conversation, but the book itself is therapeutic,
Okay.
right? That was my opportunity to, I guess, release a lot of the stuff that I had inside, you know, and the best way to do it for me was to put it in the book.
Okay.
Because I'm like a private person. I don't like
Right.
telling everybody my business.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
But if you get the book, you'll read it.
You read it, baby. Get this book.
Yeah, yeah. But then also I wanted to leave something for my kids, right? You know, I think a lot of times, you know, children grow up and they don't really know their parents. You know what I mean?
Stuff that you don't tell, you take to the grave with you.
Correct.
You're
And so
right.
this was an opportunity for me to be transparent to them, let them know that their
Who
father
they
was
daddy
never
is.
perfect, you know, and
Okay.
some of the flaws and shortcomings that I experienced, but also to let them know how much, you know, life has meant to me and for them being in my life and being part of my life, you know, so yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you had like I said, this was a good, easy read, but it was very, like, I felt the passion in it, behind it. And now that you say you went to therapy, but it didn't give you exactly what you wanted, this was your therapy,
Absolutely.
telling your story.
Absolutely. And I feel like, you know, whoever read it can really identify, relate to
it some type of way.
Yeah, because each chapter deal with a different choice. One that we have encountered, or one that we will encounter.
Right,
You know.
right.
And so yeah, it's just good to know, get the feedback from it from people who've read it, and you know their thoughts on it. You know, for whether it's the choice of religion, choice of love,
Right.
choice of education, like you talk about the PWI,
Right,
HBCU,
right.
so that's in there. I mean, just choice of friends, you know. I mean, your friend circle is tight,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
And y'all been at it for a long period of time, so nah, it's a great read, but I feel like it's relatable and it could benefit somebody. I didn't have no blueprint, you know what I mean?
Right.
And that's why the color of the book is blue, because it could be a blueprint for somebody. You know. Yeah.
And it's good that you say that, because you are a mentor to several young men.
Correct.
Is that why you start mentoring younger guys, because of how you was raised and how you grew up?
Yeah, I think for me, it was just identifying my purpose in life.
Okay.
Right? I think sometimes people go through life and don't even know their purpose. Right? So for me, I realized that my purpose is to impact as many lives as I can every day. Right? And I know that for me, I live by, you know, the only fingerprint that you cannot remove is the life that you touch. So I'm trying to touch a life. So if I get an opportunity to talk to a young man or a young lady, academic, you know, athletically, socially, you know, religion, whatever.
Right.
And that's my purpose.
Okay.
So when that happens, you know, you get, I guess, that closeness, you know, or they gravitate, and then you just kind of build upon that
relationship,
that foundation that you started. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so what advice would you give young people growing up in similar circumstances as you did? And how can someone embrace a soft life without losing sight of their roots?
Okay. The thing I tell young people is to identify their purpose. You know,
Okay.
I think whatever your passion is, you got to pursue that. Right.
Okay, so the generation now, we know their passion is different than ours were.
Correct.
This is a different people we dealing with here. How do you get to them? I mean, I know you're a professor, so you're around them all the time. How do you get to them? Because they think we're aliens. You know what I mean?
Right. Just like I told you, I listen.
Okay.
I think, you know, sometimes people our age don't care to listen to people younger. And so we miss, you know, what they're trying to say, or we miss what they're trying to portray.
Okay.
Right? So when I have an opportunity to be in a situation to listen, that's what I do.
Okay.
And then I take what they said and then I make it relatable to the point where now they can see both sides.
Both sides. Okay.
You know, and to me, I think it's effective because I get feedback from them when they come back years later and say, I remember when you told me this. You know, I remember when you told me that. But just being able to listen and relate, you know, show that you care.
Okay.
You know, everybody not going to be a college professor. Some people gonna be an artist.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Or paint. But go ahead and paint.
Paint. Be the best painter,
whereas
Picasso.
Yeah.
You
Some
can be.
people like, you don't want to be no painter. You know what I mean? So I just feel like you just have to, you know, help them identify their passion, their purpose,
And what they want.
and then love on them. You gotta love on them. You know what I mean? So, you know, I think that's the best advice I would give. Is to just follow your passion, know your purpose.
Know your
And be
purpose.
great every day. Every day.
Look, some adults can use that advice.
I'm telling you.
Know your passion, your purpose, and be great every day.
Every day, yeah. Because tomorrow not promised.
You're right.
Right?
And we know that.
Yeah.
As we getting older, a lot of people didn't make it.
Yeah.
So, hey, I live life to the fullest right now.
Yeah. And it's something I want to share too.
Okay.
And it came to me. If you live today like it's your last day, you'll be great every day.
Say that, look at that camera and say it again.
If you live today like it's your last day, you will be great every day.
I think I need to write that down.
Yeah.
Okay. That's one of my affirmations. Okay. All right. So this is my final question. I always lie and say it's the final one, just in case some may come up later. All right. But what's next for you in terms of writing and your personal growth? Will we see another book coming out soon?
Whew, that's a great question. But to answer that, yes, you know, currently working on book number 2. It's gonna be entitled "Be True to the Game." And then also working on writing a script for this book.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah,
This needs to be a movie.
Yeah, so-
Anybody out there that's in production, please read this book.
Yeah. So
And I'm available for casting. But oh my gosh, that needs to be. I was gonna say that.
So I was thinking more or less a series where each chapter is an episode.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Episode 1, choice of life.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Episode 2, so for choice of family. So, but yeah, definitely, you know, gonna put that on the screen somewhere, on the phone. I don't know. It's gonna be somewhere.
Right. Well, you from Detroit, you know, Tubi is the queen.
Oh my God, they do it, don't they?
Detroit got Tubi on lock.
Hey, they do it. They do it, boy.
I said, if I see
Dirty
another,
They
if I see another Detroit movie, it's Tubi.
man,
Tubi
they
is
do
on
it.
lock.
They do it.
But yeah,
nah, that's-
so I was. It's good that you talked about that because this book definitely could be a series.
Yeah.
Definitely. And don't stop on that.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Will the next book be similar?
So the next book, Be True to the Game, has a similar context, but it's gonna be different.
Okay.
Right. So I've experienced a lot as a coach.
Okay.
Right.
True to the game.
Yeah. To the point where if I go recruit a kid and the kid tell me he coming, but really no, he not coming.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like.
Okay, so that's serious now.
Oh yeah.
With this NIL stuff.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And the same thing with parents. Oh yeah, Johnny coming. He gonna come play for you. Just be true to the game. And then even to the point where with coaches, right? So if I'm an aspiring head coach and I get a job and, you know, I say, yeah, I'm gonna hire you, which I'm gonna hire him, you know, but I'm like, just be true. Just say, no, you know, I'm gonna go in a different direction.
Right.
But it's not just about the game of basketball, it's the game of life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
People
if you
just not truthful. Just be true to the game. Just tell the truth.
But it ain't out yet. It ain't out. I ain't finished yet, baby. You gonna tell them to go get it? They gonna be looking for it, baby. You know.
It's gonna be out soon.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna get to it.
Because we don't spoke it into existence on here.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any projects or goals you're working towards that relates to your journey and helping others?
Yes. I mean, I just feel like, I have a deep passion for people. So helping people is kind of like when my feet hit the floor, it's to help somebody.
It's to help
You know what I mean? When your feet hit the floor, God done gave you another 24 to do what you didn't do the day before, and you just go out and help somebody.
Did y'all hear that?
You know?
Did y'all hear that? He tried to rhyme a little bit, but it's like when your feet hit the floor, God gave you another 24. So go help somebody.
Go help somebody. So, I mean, whatever I can do to help, that's what I'm doing. And, I'm still trying to identify how that's going to happen.
Okay.
But no, I'm here being used as a vessel to help somebody.
Okay, so you're in a fraternity and a Mason as well.
Correct.
Have you thought about doing a foundation or something for youthful men, young men? Yeah,
so I do have a LLC. It's called Glass Ceiling, right? And so Glass Ceiling is it's a mentoring, nonprofit where, I take in, young men, young women, and there's 4 concepts to it. So I do have an athletic piece, which my nephew runs, our AAU, called Pistons Elite, and we take in those young men, mentor them, so forth and so on. My daughter's real big in fashion, so we have a fashion component where we do fashion shows she's diabetic, So initially it's Greek fashion, diabetes. So trying to get that off of the ground. And then also a college tour, where we go take students, not just to HBCUs. I think we miss that sometimes because, just like we were talking about this art, everybody might not want to be a professor.
Right.
Some people might want to do art.
Right.
And so everybody might not be built for a HBCU,
Correct.
They might do well, at a PWI. So, it's going to be I-75, I-85, and we're going to hit certain institutions along the way, but all of them won't be HBCUs.
Okay. And that's good to expose people to different things.
That part, Yeah, so, and then, the mentoring is the Uplift mentoring program, and it's not just for young men, it's for young ladies too, because you have some young ladies who don't have male figures in their lives.
You're right.
And need that.
You're right.
So, that's Glass Ceilings, LLC.
Yeah, I love it. Glass Ceilings, LLC. Yeah. I like that you're doing that because I tell people all the time, like you said, as a single mother raising a son, she can't teach him how to be a man.
Correct.
And I argue with people about that all the time.
Correct.
Women think, oh, I'm a single mom and my son is good. No, he needs a male figure.
Correct.
So organizations like this, where you have Black men or men in general that want to be father figures to your sons, reach out.
Yes.
Reach out.
Yeah.
And the same thing with women who, a lot of them don't have their mother. You was raising your daughter.
Correct.
You can't teach her how to be a woman. You can tell her how you perceive a lady's supposed to act, but you can't. So you needed women around to help you. So, hey, don't be afraid to ask for help, y'all.
Yeah.
So is there anything you would like to leave the audience with, like before your last words?
You look good in that purple.
I wore the purple because he's an Omega.
Yeah,
Actually, it was by accident. But I knew I was going to get teased.
Yeah, purple, baby.
I bleed blue.
Yeah, but no, I just, want, everybody to know that you have a purpose in life. Mm-hmm. Identify that purpose. Let that purpose become your passion. And just impact lives.
Impact lives.
I just feel like life's so short to the point where, you don't want to leave here, with having something to give, right? Because I told my children, I say, when I die, I want my tombstone to read, Bo Bivens, here lies nothing, because he gave everything, right? And so to be able to know that I give everything every day, I would want somebody to pick that up and kind of take that on as well.
I love that. I love that. Choices and consequences. Where can they find you, Bo?
I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn.
What's your Instagram link?
Instagram is Boaz, my first name, middle initial I, .Bivens. LinkedIn, and I got a social media manager. They putting some more stuff together, but that's all I have that I know of.
Okay, so you're on Facebook, or is that personal?
I'm not on Facebook.
Instagram only?
Instagram
Okay.
only, and LinkedIn.
And LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And then his YouTube channel will be coming soon. Choices and consequences. Bo Bivens, thank you for being on Soft Life Secrets.
Thank you for having me. I mean, this has been great. I think, like you said, it doesn't feel like an interview. It just feel like we have a conversation with somebody that I care a lot about, and keep doing what you're doing. Keep up the great work.
Thank you. And I hope to come on your podcast soon.
Well, we're going to put you in, you're going to be in the series, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
They're going to know you,
On the podcast.
Yeah, you're going to have your shirt on, Soft Life Secrets.
Okay. Until the next episode, tune in. Don't forget to subscribe, hit like, and share. Bye-bye.